Rapunzel returned after years to beg for a bond with the human. She couldn't forget the air was thick with colors Alex had never seen before. It shimmered, almost like a curtain of light, in shades of violet and turquoise, moving with the faintest breeze. Each step he took on the soft, moss-like ground sent tiny sparks of bioluminescence rising into the air, as if the planet itself were alive and watching him. Dr. Alex Rieneur adjusted his pack, checking the instruments strapped across his chest. The sensors flickered with readings he barely understood: energy levels, gravitational anomalies, strange plant life, and unknown atmospheric particles. He had been sent here as part of an exploratory mission to survey planets that might support life, but he never expected something like this. This place, it's not just alive, he murmured to himself. It's aware. The forest stretched endlessly, towering crystal-like trees glinting with internal light. Leaves pulsed with subtle, hypnotic glows. Every now and then, a soft hum echoed through the air, vibrating against his chest, a tone that seemed to resonate deep within his mind. Alex paused and took a deep breath. He loved the thrill of discovering the unknown, but this planet, unnamed, uncharted, untouched by humans, was on another level entirely. He knelt to examine the moss-like ground, brushing it gently with gloved hands. The surface was soft, spongy, and warm, almost comforting, yet there was a faint vibration beneath it. "Energy levels are off the charts," he whispered, scribbling notes into his digital pad. "Almost intelligent." The sound of a distant crackling made him freeze. At first, he thought it was just the wind moving through the crystal trees. Then a sharp snap echoed, like a breaking branch, closer this time. He turned cautiously. The forest seemed calm, but instinct prickled at his skin. He took a few cautious steps forward, scanning the area, when suddenly the ground beneath his feet trembled slightly. Before he could react, a shard of crystal from a nearby tree broke free, plummeting toward him. He rolled to the side, but the jagged piece grazed his shoulder, tearing through his jacket and leaving a painful scratch. "Ah, damn it!" he hissed, wincing as blood seeped through his sleeve. He quickly applied a portable dressing, cursing under his breath. He knew that on a planet like this, even small injuries could become dangerous. He tried to focus on the scanner, but the readings were chaotic, energy spikes everywhere like the planet itself was alive. Alex stood and continued cautiously, more alert now. He needed to collect samples, record data, but part of him was beginning to feel watched. Then, without warning, the ground beneath him shifted. A faint tremor ran through his legs, growing stronger. He stumbled, tried to catch his balance, but the moss gave way underfoot. His foot sank into a pit of soft, sponge-like material that seemed to collapse endlessly. "Whoa!" he shouted, reaching for a branch to grab onto. But the branch cracked in his hands, snapping under his weight. He tumbled forward, down, deeper into the glowing pit. Pain shot through his leg as he landed awkwardly. The scanner skidded from his chest, clattering across the glowing moss. He tried to stand, but his ankle twisted, and a sharp jolt of pain forced him to his knees. "Not good, not good," he muttered, gritting his teeth. "Okay, Alex, think you can handle this." But as he tried to crawl toward the edge, a strange feeling washed over him. He was not alone. It started as a soft vibration, then a low, resonant hum that seemed to come from all around him. His heart raced. Out of the shadows, he saw a figure moving. At first, he thought it was another explorer, another human, but the shape was impossibly tall. Then it stepped into the light. She was magnificent, 12 feet tall, humanoid, but unlike anything he had imagined. Her skin shimmered faintly with an iridescent glow, and her eyes were wide and intelligent, reflecting curiosity rather than aggression. Muscles rippled under her sleek, patterned armor, but her movements were fluid, precise, almost gentle despite her size. Alex froze, unsure whether to speak or run. The alien tilted her head, studying him. She made a sound, soft, musical, almost like a hum combined with words, but it wasn't a language he could understand. Still, the meaning was clear. She was not here to harm him. Slowly, she stepped closer, each footfall barely disturbing the glowing moss. Alex's fear battled his awe. He had seen depictions of alien life in hollow archives, but nothing had prepared him for this. Then, without a word, she crouched slightly and extended a massive hand toward him. The gesture was deliberate, careful, almost human in its tenderness. Alex hesitated, but pain in his leg forced him to accept the help. Her hand was warm, surprisingly gentle. With her support, he slowly rose. She didn't rush him. She guided him through the glowing forest, moving with a grace that belied her towering height. He noticed things he would never have imagined. Her fingers traced the edges of the moss without crushing it. She avoided broken crystal shards with careful precision. Her eyes scanned constantly, alert and aware. Finally, she led him to a sheltered alcove in the roots of a gigantic crystal tree. Inside, the light was softer, pulsing in gentle waves. Strange flowers grew along the walls, emitting tiny sparks of light. Alex realized the alcove was almost a sanctuary, hidden from the planet's more chaotic energies. "You saved me," he said, voice barely above a whisper. The alien Thyra, he would later think of her as that, tilted her head again. She emitted a hum, then pressed one massive hand gently against his shoulder. Warmth spread through him, and the throbbing in his legs seemed to ease, as if her presence alone was healing him. Alex sank to a patch of soft moss. He didn't know how long he had been lying in the pit, or how long she had been watching him. All he knew was that he was safe for now. He tried to study her without being rude. Her armor was seamless, made of materials he had never seen. Patterns shifted subtly as if alive, responding to her movements. Her eyes, bright, reflective, and intelligent, never left his face. "Who are you?" he asked. The alien made a sound, a single low note, and then a pattern of light pulsed across the walls of the alcove. Alex realized it was a form of communication, not language in the human sense, but images, emotions, or ideas projected directly into his mind. He felt calm, cared for, and strangely understood. He smiled weakly. I think I could get used to this," he whispered. Thyra stepped back slightly, giving him space, but never leaving. She circled the alcove slowly, examining the plants, touching the glowing flora with care, ensuring nothing was disturbed. It was as if she wanted him to understand that this place, like her, was alive and to respect it. Hours passed. Alex documented everything mentally, her movements, the sounds she made, the light patterns, everything about her defied human expectations. He felt a mix of awe and gratitude, realizing that not only had she saved him, but she was teaching him something without words. Empathy could exist in the most unexpected forms. As night fell on the planet, a soft, shimmering glow bathed the alcove. Thyra sat nearby, watching him almost like a guardian. Alex leaned back, exhausted, his injuries throbbing less than he feared. This is beyond anything Earth has ever known," he murmured. "And yet it feels right." He drifted into a light sleep, still aware of her presence. Somewhere deep inside, he knew this encounter would change him forever. Outside, the forest pulsed gently, alive with energy. A 12-foot guardian watched over him, not with force, but with care. And for the first time in his life, Alex felt the full weight of something bigger than humanity. A universe full of intelligence, empathy, and life that surpassed anything he had imagined. The alcove was quiet, bathed in soft pulses of light. Alex could feel his heartbeat slowing, the pain in his leg lessening with each passing moment. He shifted slightly on the soft moss floor, testing the strength in his ankle. It hurt, but he could move it without agony. Thyra watched him closely, her massive eyes reflecting the gentle light of the glowing plants. She made a soft hum, almost musical, and then bent down to touch his ankle lightly. A warmth spread from her hand, coursing through his muscles and easing the soreness. Alex flinched slightly at first, unused to such intimate contact from someone or something so huge. But the warmth was comforting, almost soothing. "Why you do this naturally?" he asked, his voice cautious. Thyra tilted her head and emitted a sequence of hums, then pressed her fingers gently against his shoulder. Images flashed in his mind. A vision of her species moving through the forests, touching plants and healing small creatures, showing care with deliberate movements. He realized she was trying to explain her way of helping, her connection to life on this planet. I see," he whispered, amazed. "You heal because you understand life." She made a soft note, and a faint light traveled along the walls, shaping itself into patterns that mimicked life. Flowers opening, small creatures scurrying, streams flowing. Alex stared at it, fascinated. It was like watching a story unfold without words. He moved slowly, testing his leg again. This time he tried to stand, using Thyra's support. Her massive hand held his elbow, steadying him, and he felt no fear of being dropped or crushed. The strength in her hand was astonishing, but it was the gentleness that left him in awe. "You trust me?" he said softly, another hum and a small, almost imperceptible nod. Her species did not seem to use words like humans did, but their intentions were clear. She wanted him to be safe, to trust her. Alex took a deep breath and glanced around the alcove. Strange plants glowed with their own light, and small insects with translucent wings flitted about. Some hovered over the moss, leaving tiny sparks in their path. It was alive everywhere, but calm, harmonious. "Everything here, it's alive," he murmured, "and you're part of it." Thyra crouched beside him and extended a hand toward the glowing moss. She touched a patch, and the light shifted, flowing over her fingers like water. She seemed to invite him to try. Hesitant but curious, Alex pressed his hand against the moss. It pulsed under his touch, warm and gentle, and for a moment he felt a strange connection, as if the forest itself recognized him. "You're teaching me your world," he said, smiling. A soft hum vibrated in the air, and a warm glow bathed them both. Alex realized it wasn't just the moss or the plants. It was her presence, her connection to the energy of this planet. Every touch, every gesture was a form of communication. Hours passed as he rested and explored his surroundings under her watchful gaze. Thyra never left his side. When he tried to move, she guided him. When he reached for a strange plant, she adjusted his grip so he wouldn't damage it. Alex began to notice small details. The way her eyes reflected the light of the cavern, the careful movements of her massive fingers, the rhythm in her breathing that matched the pulsing energy around them. "You're incredible," he whispered. "I've never seen anything like you or this place." Another soft hum, and she stepped back slightly, creating a small distance but keeping her eyes on him. He realized she wasn't just a guardian, she was a teacher, guiding him to understand without words. Later, Alex tried to speak more clearly, testing if she understood. I'm Alex Rionur." Thyra made a soft note, then projected a shimmering image in the air, a human figure standing among glowing trees, raising a hand in greeting. Alex watched, astonished. She was trying to communicate his own introduction back to him. Yes, that's me," he said, laughing softly. "You understand me somehow." The day passed slowly, filled with these small lessons. Alex learned to read her hums, her gestures, and the shifting lights. He began to understand not only what she was communicating, but also her feelings: curiosity, patience, care. By the time the soft violet light of the planet's evening began to shine through the alcove, Alex felt something he had not expected. He was no longer afraid. He was not just surviving. He was learning, understanding, and connecting. Thyra led him deeper into the alcove, revealing another area where small pools of water shimmered with a strange, bioluminescent light. She knelt beside one, dipped her hands, and brought the water toward Alex's injuries. He watched as the light from the water flowed over his scratches and bruises, soothing the pain. The effect was gentle, subtle, but undeniable. Alex gasped. I can feel it working." Thyra hummed softly, and for the first time she leaned her massive head slightly closer to him, as if sharing the moment. Alex's heart pounded, not from fear, but from amazement. He had been saved, cared for, and now he was healing in a way he could never have imagined. He tried to speak again. You're amazing. I don't know how to thank you." The alien responded with another light pattern, showing scenes of her species tending to each other, sharing food, healing the injured. Alex realized that gratitude and care were central to her culture. She did not need words, actions were enough. I want to learn," he said softly. "I want to understand your world, your people." She tilted her head slightly and hummed, the glowing patterns shifting again to show him forests, creatures, and structures of her people. Alex studied everything carefully, trying to memorize, to understand. Even though he could not speak her language, he felt connected. Hours turned into the alien night. The alcove glowed softly, and Alex finally allowed himself to lie down on the moss. Thyra sat nearby, her massive body curled just enough to give him space but stay close. Alex stared at the patterns of light dancing on the walls and thought about everything he had seen: the forest, the glowing plants, the gentle giant who had saved him. He realized something important. She did not see him as prey or a threat or a curiosity. She saw him as life, and that was enough. Sleep came slowly, but it was deep and restful. He dreamt of glowing forests, of humming lights, of a towering figure guiding him through impossible landscapes. He dreamt of trust, understanding, and connection. When he awoke, sunlight, strange violet sunlight filtered through the trees, spilled into the alcove. Thyra was already standing, waiting. Her eyes met his, and a small hum vibrated in the air. It was an invitation. Alex sat up, wincing slightly as his leg protested, but it was manageable. He smiled at her. I'm ready to move a little more today. Can we explore? Another hum, and she extended her massive hand. He took it, feeling warmth and strength. Together, they stepped out of the alcove and into the glowing forest. Every step was a lesson. Thyra guided him past dangerous patches of moss, past glowing vines that reacted to touch, past small creatures that scuttled quietly under the roots. Alex learned to read her gestures, to trust her instincts, and slowly he began to move with confidence. They reached a small clearing where a stream of glowing water ran through the forest. Thyra knelt beside it, showing him how to drink safely, how to touch the water without harming the creatures living in it. Alex followed her example, amazed by the gentle, deliberate way she interacted with the world. This is incredible, he whispered, kneeling beside her. Everything is alive, everything matters. A soft hum vibrated in response, and Alex felt it in his chest. He realized that the alien world was teaching him something fundamental. Care, attention, and respect were more powerful than strength or speed. As the alien sun began to set, painting the forest in deep violet and gold, Alex realized that he was not just surviving. He was learning, growing, and connecting in ways he had never imagined. Thyra, the 12-foot warrior, had become his guide, protector, and teacher. For the first time in his life, he understood that intelligence and strength were not always measured by force. Sometimes, the greatest power was the ability to heal, to guide, and to connect. And in that glowing, humming forest, Alex felt the first real bond between two very different worlds. The alien forest shimmered with a soft glow as Alex walked beside Thyra. Each step he took was careful, guided by her steady hand. The mossy ground was still spongy, but he had learned to trust her instincts. Every movement she made, from bending to touch a glowing plant to guiding his foot over uneven terrain, spoke of care and precision. Alex marveled at her strength. Even towering at 12 feet, she moved as if the forest itself flowed around her. She never disturbed a plant or startled a creature. It was not brute force that defined her, but awareness, an intelligence that respected life at every scale. "I've never met anyone like you," Alex said softly, letting the words hang in the glowing air. She tilted her head slightly, a gesture of curiosity. The glowing patterns on the walls and plants responded subtly to her movements, pulsing in rhythm as if reflecting her thoughts. Alex smiled. He was beginning to understand her methods, though he still struggled to fully interpret the meanings behind the lights and hums. "I want to learn from you," he continued, "about this planet and your people." A low, musical hum vibrated through the air. The light patterns shifted rapidly, showing images of her species tending to each other, caring for wounded members, and moving through forests much like this one. Alex realized that empathy and cooperation were central to her culture. They were not warriors in the sense he had assumed. They were guardians of life, strong because they cared deeply. You protect," Alex whispered, "not with weapons, but with care." Thyra's response was a series of gentle pulses of light, almost like a nod. Alex felt warmth spread through him. The alien had understood him. For the first time, he sensed the true depth of intelligence beyond language. They arrived at a small hill, a natural rise where the forest opened into a glowing clearing. Streams of bioluminescent water flowed across smooth stones, and tiny creatures scuttled along the edges, leaving trails of faint sparks. Thyra knelt by the water and gestured for Alex to do the same. "Drink," he said, pointing to the water. She emitted a soft sound, almost like laughter. Then, carefully, she demonstrated, dipping her hands into the stream and bringing the glowing water to her mouth without disturbing the creatures. Alex followed, marveling at how she balanced strength with gentleness. "You're teaching me patience," he said, smiling, "and respect." Another hum vibrated through the clearing. Alex felt it resonate within him, a soothing vibration that seemed to connect his heartbeat to the rhythm of the forest. He realized that Thyra's methods were more than physical. They were emotional, almost spiritual. For hours, they moved through the forest together. Alex observed how she interacted with plants and creatures, copying her movements, learning her silent language of gestures and hums. She guided him past glowing vines that would have snapped under careless hands, past flowers that opened only when approached with gentleness. He began to understand the value of subtlety, of thinking before acting, a lesson humanity often forgot in its rush to dominate or exploit. At one point, they reached a cluster of small, crystal-like trees. The light emitted by the trees was brighter here, almost blinding. Alex knelt and touched the moss, marveling at its warmth and subtle vibrations. Thyra placed a massive hand over his, and together they felt the gentle hum of energy flowing through the forest. "It's alive," Alex whispered. "Everything is alive." She responded with a long, musical note, and the moss beneath their hands pulsed softly, almost like it was responding to their touch. Alex laughed softly. "You're showing me the forest talks to you?" Another sequence of hums and lights conveyed the answer. She did not speak, yet he understood. Yes. Every creature, every plant, every stream had a voice, and she listened. Humans relied on words too much. Here, communication transcended language. As the alien day continued, Alex shared small stories from Earth. He described the oceans, mountains, forests, and cities. He spoke of humans caring for each other, of families, friends, and communities. Thyra listened, her massive head tilting in curiosity. Occasionally, she responded with a hum, and the light patterns shifted to images of her people reacting, smiling, or working together. Alex realized that even though their worlds were vastly different, there was a common thread: life, empathy, and cooperation. The differences were immense, but the similarities, love, care, curiosity, bridged the gap. Later, Thyra led him to a shallow cave where the walls were smooth and glowing softly. Strange crystals lined the edges, radiating gentle warmth. Here she showed Alex how her species healed injuries. She pressed her massive hands over his leg, and a gentle glow spread across his skin. The sensation was warm, like a sunbeam on a winter morning. Pain ebbed, replaced by comfort and relief. "You heal," he whispered. "Without medicine, without tools." A soft hum, and she guided his fingers to the crystals embedded in the walls. Alex realized that the healing was not magic. It was energy, awareness, and careful manipulation of the natural environment. He began to understand that her intelligence was not in technology alone, but in the wisdom of knowing life, in observing, and in acting with care. "Humans, we think power is in machines, in weapons," Alex said softly. "But maybe it's in understanding and empathy." Thyra emitted a long, gentle note. The light patterns shifted to images of her species helping others, carrying the injured, nurturing the young. Alex felt the truth in it. Strength was not only physical, it was emotional, spiritual, and moral. Hours passed. Alex grew stronger, more confident. His ankle healed further, but more importantly, he began to feel a connection, an understanding of this alien world and its guardians. He no longer saw himself as a visitor. He was a participant, learning, observing, and growing. At one point, he dared to ask, "Do you ever get lonely?" Thyra paused, hums fading into silence for a moment. Then, gently, she projected light patterns, images of her people walking together, caring for each other, sharing food, tending the young. She had not answered directly, but he understood her people were never truly alone. Connection was the essence of life here. Alex nodded slowly. "I think I understand. Connection is stronger than anything else." As the alien night fell, the forest glowed with a soft, steady light. Alex lay down on the moss, exhausted but exhilarated. Thyra settled nearby, her massive form curling in a protective posture. Alex felt safe. He felt understood. He felt part of something larger than himself. Before sleep claimed him, he whispered, "Thank you for teaching me." She responded with a hum, and a soft glow bathed the alcove. Alex drifted into dreams of glowing forests, shimmering waters, and the gentle giant who guided him through the alien world. In his dreams, he saw not only the planet but the possibilities of humanity, what humans could become if they chose empathy, intelligence, and care over conflict. Morning came with the gentle hum of the alien forest. Alex awoke to the sound of light and movement. Thyra was already moving, preparing to guide him further. Today would be another lesson, another opportunity to explore, learn, and connect. Alex rose, feeling stronger, braver, more capable. He had been a visitor, injured and lost, but now he was a student, learning the ways of a world that defied all expectations. He glanced at Thyra, who regarded him with quiet intensity. "Ready?" she seemed to ask. Yes," he replied, smiling. "Let's see what else I can learn." Together, they stepped out into the glowing forest. Every step was a lesson, every movement a discovery. Alex realized that the greatest adventures were not just about exploration or survival, they were about understanding, connection, and growth. And as the alien sun rose, painting the forest in shades of violet and gold, Alex understood that his life had changed forever. He had met not just a guardian, but a teacher, not just an alien, but a guide. and through her he was learning what it truly meant to be human. For the first time, he felt the pride and potential of humanity, not in machines, not in weapons, not in conquest, but in curiosity, empathy, and the power to connect with life beyond Earth. The soft violet glow of the alien forest stretched endlessly as Alex and Thyra moved. Carefully through the undergrowth. He felt stronger now, his ankle fully healed, his muscles less stiff. Every step was more confident, but the forest was still full of surprises. Moss-covered rocks could collapse underfoot, glowing vines could entangle the unwary, and the bioluminescent streams changed their paths unpredictably. Yet with Thyra guiding him, each danger felt manageable. Alex glanced at her towering form, noting how naturally she moved. 12 feet tall, yet every motion was deliberate, careful, and balanced. Her large eyes scanned the forest constantly, always aware of every movement, every creature, every shift in the terrain. Alex had begun to trust her instincts more than any sensor or instrument he carried. "I don't think I'll ever get used to this place," he said, laughing softly. "It's alive, watching us all the time." Thyra responded with a low hum, her massive hand brushing over a glowing vine to keep it from tangling them. Alex smiled, noticing again how she combined strength with gentleness. They reached a clearing where the glowing streams converged into a small pond. Alex knelt to touch the water, marveling at the way it pulsed lightly under his fingers. He felt the same warmth that had healed him in the alcove, a gentle reminder of Thyra's presence. "This feels like magic," he whispered. Thyra tilted her head, a soft note resonating in the air. Not magic, Alex realized. It was understanding, awareness, connection. The forest responded because she knew how to listen. He laughed softly. "I think I'm learning, slowly." The peaceful rhythm of their exploration was interrupted by a distant hum, different from the gentle vibrations of the forest. Alex froze. The sound was faint, but it carried an urgency. Thyra's eyes narrowed slightly, and she emitted a sharp note, her body tensing. Alex's heart beat faster. "What is it?" he whispered. Thyra gestured toward the horizon, and Alex saw movement. Faint glimmers of light between the trees, moving in ways that did not belong to the forest. They were not hostile, he realized, but they were a reminder that his team would eventually find him. "They're looking," he said quietly. "My people, they're coming." Thyra's gaze softened. She had understood the situation immediately. She had guided him this far, taught him patience and awareness, but she also knew he could not stay forever. Their bond was strong, but she respected the inevitability of his departure. Alex sighed. "I don't want to leave, not yet, but I can't stay forever." Thyra made a low hum, and the light patterns shifted, showing images of pathways through the forest. She was offering him guidance, ways to safely meet his team while preserving the integrity of the forest. He realized that separation did not have to mean loss. Careful planning, awareness, and trust could allow both worlds to remain connected. They moved quickly but cautiously through the forest, using hidden paths that avoided dangerous terrain. Alex marveled at how she knew every curve of the moss-covered ground, every hidden root, every reflective pool. He had never imagined a being could be so in tune with her environment. Hours passed. They reached a ridge overlooking a valley where faint lights flickered in the distance, his team scanning and searching. Alex's chest tightened. He wanted to run toward them, but he also did not want to leave Thyra unprotected. "You trust me?" he whispered. She responded with a soft, affirming hum. Alex realized the answer was not just about physical safety, it was about understanding and intelligence. He could navigate the dangers ahead, but only if he applied everything she had taught him. The descent into the valley required careful planning. Glowing vines hung overhead, rocks shifted underfoot, and streams of pulsing water crisscrossed the path. Alex relied on Thyra's guidance, learning to predict subtle movements in the terrain, to move silently, and to respect every creature they encountered. "You're incredible," he said breathlessly, adjusting his stride. "I don't think I could do this without you." Thyra responded with a gentle nod, her massive hand brushing his shoulder to steady him. Alex realized again that strength alone was not enough. Empathy, intelligence, and observation mattered more. Humanity's potential was not in force. It was in learning, in connecting, in using knowledge wisely. As they approached the valley floor, the team spotted them. Shouts of surprise echoed faintly through the forest. Alex raised his hands, signaling that they should approach slowly. Thyra remained calm, her presence commanding the attention of the humans without fear or aggression. "Alex, one of them called, relief and worry in equal measure. He smiled. I'm okay, thanks to someone, he said, glancing at Thyra. The team hesitated, unsure of how to react to the towering alien warrior, but Alex stepped forward, speaking gently. She saved me, she's teaching me, please respect that. Thyra made a soft hum, and the light patterns shifted in the air, showing images of Alex's journey, the healing, the care, the connection they had shared. The humans watched, awe and understanding slowly replacing fear. Alex realized something important. His world was different, but the principles were the same. Empathy, care, intelligence. They transcended species. He had learned that humanity's greatest strength was not weapons or technology, but curiosity, understanding, and connection. The team approached cautiously, led by Alex's reassurances. They observed Thyra without threat, recognizing her role as a guardian and teacher. Alex explained everything he had learned: the forest, the creatures, the healing, the importance of respect and awareness. Hours passed as Alex guided the humans through the initial part of the forest, showing them the paths Thyra had used, teaching them to move carefully and respectfully. Thyra followed, observing quietly, ready to intervene if needed, but confident that Alex had learned enough to lead. When the time came for the team to return to their ship, Alex felt a pang of sadness. He wanted to stay with Thyra to continue learning from her, but he also knew he could not abandon his own people. You will come back, he whispered. A soft hum and the light patterns shifted, showing an image of the forest, glowing gently, waiting. Alex understood she would remain and the bond they had formed would not be forgotten. As they reached the edge of the forest, Alex turned to her. Thank you for everything. Thyra's eyes met his, and a gentle warmth radiated from her. He felt a deep connection, stronger than words could express. I will return, he whispered, promising himself as much as her. The team led him away, but Alex kept glancing back. Thyra remained in the forest, a silent guardian, a teacher, and a friend. He realized that the lessons she had taught him about empathy, intelligence, and care were not confined to this planet. They were the essence of humanity's potential. As they moved toward the ship, Alex reflected on everything he had learned. Thyra had shown him that true strength was not measured in power or dominance, but in understanding, connection, and the wisdom to act with care. The alien forest glowed behind them, alive and vigilant, and Alex knew that he had been changed forever. Humanity's story was just beginning, and the lessons of this strange, beautiful world would guide him for the rest of his life.